Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by GeneralsJoes Reborn.com with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80. For today's episode, I'm joined by the awesome Patrick Notpicard Stewart. In this regular video series, we round up all the week's news in the world of G.I. Joe. What is it, Pat?
It's the Full Force Weekly.
Damn right. Happy Thanksgiving, buddy.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. I guess it's going to be a little late for everybody. Happy Thanksgiving, but yeah. Thanksgiving was yesterday. I had my pumpkin pie, and so therefore it was official.
It's kind of like Groundhog Day. When you see the groundhog, it's official. Right. Yeah, cool, man. Yeah, this is going to be a bit late in the Thanksgiving schedule, I guess. But yeah, I hope everyone's had a lovely time. Yeah, we ended up spending it with the Boss Fight team. So we went to Boss Fight HQ and we had a little kind of, a meal in the war room of Boss Fight HQ, which was really nice. We all brought different dishes and stuff. It was lovely, amazing. So that was a lot of fun. So shout out to those guys, even though this is like a pre-shout out to the shout outs, isn't it? What did you do, Pat? Did you go and see family?
I did, yes. I saw my parents and then I went to work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving. I have to work.
Mate, why are people going to the movies on Thanksgiving? They should be at home with their families watching movies.
Well, it's the holidays is when people support me most, I guess, as far as showing up and doing things. So
oh well,
I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, kind of thankful, but also had to go to work. Mate, that sucks. But anyway, we've had a little bit. We have actually had quite a few news stories this week. So that means we're going to be talking for about 2 or 3 hours. Pat, so let's start off then. Firstly, in some classified news. Images courtesy of 80s Toy Boy on Twitter have emerged showing a possible street date of December 22nd for the Target exclusive Python Patrol Bat and Cobra Viper figures via the internal Target system. The date reads 12/22, which had a few worried people thinking it was actually next year, but seeing as they've been in hand overseas and the fact that they were revealed months ago suggests that it is most certainly the 22nd of next month. This also lines up with the slated release that we've always been aware of for these particular figures in January. No mention of Outback as yet, but I imagine it will only be a matter of time, and I would be very surprised if they didn't ship together. But knowing what's been happening with the world of late, don't be shocked if there's a bit of time between their appearances on shelves. Pat, are you excited to get these?
Yes. I always am a little leery of dates that are just right before Christmas and right before the end of the year, because a couple of things happen, which is the holiday. It's difficult for people to get to work and to put things on shelves during that time. I would imagine there's going to be a little bit of a hustle. I know as a collector, it feels like a lot of times what happens is things go out and they're immediately pulled off the shelf. So it's always been difficult to get something whenever it's put on the shelf between like December 20th and December, whatever the end of the year is.
Yeah.
December, you know what I mean? That area where the store is just crazy.
It's going to be round. People are going to be all over that kind of stuff. And that makes it more, it's bad enough when we have to go in with other collectors on the morning of January the 1st. And we have to rush to with just 3 or 4 of us, rush to the toy aisle as soon as it opens to find that they're not out yet, or they put them out and they've just all been gone. They've all been taken. So it's going to be ridiculous around Christmas time.
Yeah. And then the other thing that you run into is if like the shipping schedules may not work out. And if they're not there at that point, you start running into the inventory time where they don't want to put things on the shelf.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll see. And I also am a little bit concerned because it's difficult sometimes to convince the people that work at my Target of things. And if they see that spot at the top that says, because the screenshot does say street date in September, I'm worried that they'll think it's a street date of September 2022.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. I think what is weird is it's like, yeah, the street date seems to be, it's already happened in a sense, and the actual ones that are actually going to get there for that particular target are December the 22nd. So yeah, it's weird because we've always been aware as well. I'm really confused about that street date thing at the top, because when we've had this information for a while actually, that those particular 3 figures were going to be for January of 2022. That was always the case. That was how they were slated. That's how they were going to be going out. So I'm really surprised to see that street date at the top, but then also, because they weren't going to be ready for September the 9th. So
maybe in some really, really old information.
Possibly.
Maybe some really, really old information or some really old agreement prior to us knowing that they were going to be there in January. Maybe that's just a little bit of an old, still in the system kind of thing.
Yeah, that is interesting. Honestly, I hadn't actually noticed that at the top. I'd been too fixated on the 1222 and they're actually going to get them in. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, let's face it, it's not really going to probably be the 1222 either. It's probably going to be more like whenevsies. 32nd of Nevuary is probably more accurate, because it just seems to be different for every single target across the country, doesn't it?
Yeah, I can't expect that it's going to be a situation where we need to go to the store whenever they, if everybody, all the G.I. Joe collectors show up at Target the morning of 1222 expecting to walk in and these be there. I don't think that's going to be happening, because I think that's specific to this Target. And maybe some places, some of us will start seeing them earlier than that. I just think that this is an end of the December kind of stop in as regularly as you can during the holiday period.
Yeah, just expect to be trying for these for maybe a few weeks. But if you've already pre-ordered them, then that's usually not an issue. Usually, I say.
But I don't have the patience for that.
Yeah. Let's be good point. Also, these are going to be really highly wanted too, aren't they? Because obviously they're army builders, so it's not like people are going to be going in there and going, yeah, I just want the one of each. They're going to be wanting multiples. I've got a feeling Target might put that stipulation of just one per customer. Do you think that'll happen again?
Yeah, which means that it may be a good idea if you're swinging through the toy section to also go to the electronics, because in my Target, the way that they handle that is they actually put them behind the electronics counter. And so you have to get somebody to hand you just one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's not our first rodeo, guys, is it? So we'll see how it goes. But it's looking likely late December we'll start seeing these kind of hitting the shelves. Like I said, no word yet about Outback. But again, I would be really surprised if he didn't also kind of appear at the same time. We don't know it officially yet. Obviously, what the issues are that could be surrounding that. It might be perfectly fine, and we might see all 3 of them around that time. And if not, January was when we were, informed that they were going to be hitting shelves. So it might even be better to just wait till after the major aspect of the holidays and go in the new year. And I don't see these being difficult. I don't think they're going to be really difficult to get hold of. I think they'll be putting them out in more. In higher numbers, because the numbers have increased dramatically across the exclusives over the last year or so. So, yeah, nothing to worry about. Everything's fine. Chill out. Next up, then, and in merchandise news, and probably in merch that will be a lot easier to get hold of in the next few weeks than these classified figures. Thanks to Anything Joes, who posted an image courtesy of Jose MHP earlier this week of a brand new piece of official G.I. Joe merchandise. This new item is a soaring light blaze stunt plane, similar in style to those basic foam gliders that you can get in dollar stores. However, these particular planes appear much larger, with a 19-inch wingspan, and come with flashing lights to allow for play in the evenings. They come disassembled as a kit you can build in simple packaging, which also boasts a whopping 30-foot launch height. Sounds like you can only launch it from a height of 30 feet, which would be hilarious and put a lot of people under the height of 30 feet at a serious disadvantage. I kid, of course. It can reach up to 30 feet in height, manually launching from the safety of the ground. They have been found at retail in both Ollie's Bargain Outlet and at Ross now as well, at a reduced price of $9.99 from $15. In any case, it looks as though the Joe merch is getting ramped up again for the holidays, so keep an eye out for any peculiar items that may have flown under the 30-foot radar. Pat, will you be demoing this one near your shelf of valuable antiquities?
No, not this time. Not this time.
Because it's going to be massive as well.
Seems like it would be safer.
going to be massive too. So you'll probably, just by lifting it up, you'll take everything off the shelves behind you. Yeah, if you're unsure as to what we're talking about, Pat demoed the helicopter, the poor helicopter from Forever Clever last episode, and took out a chips figure and a number of PVC items. Did you retrieve everything from last episode?
Yeah, it's all right back up here. They're all good.
Good work. No damage.
No damage.
Yes. Right then, we'll be demoing this stunt plane next. What do you think of this then? This does feel, it has the kind of the feel around it of just slapping a G.I. Joe badge on something, because almost exact in like the packaging, in the font use, in everything, this already exists, but as a stunt plane normal.
That's okay. I mean, yeah, label slapping is going to happen, but didn't that happen in like 1982 and 1985? So it's fine. There's a little bit of a desire. Maybe not all of us complain that we want that back, but the desire to have G.I. Joe just kind of be everywhere and just be a brand that people know. That's kind of what I would like to see happen. And, you know, everyone is in kids, you know, have it in kids' minds. G.I. Joe is a thing synonymous with adventure and gumball machines or whatever else they had in the 80s. It's fine. You know, put the brand out there. And yeah, I don't think that I'll be picking this one up. I don't think. Maybe I will. Who knows? It depends whenever I see it, if I am in the mood, I guess. But I like the fact that they're putting things out there again, and that kids may actually pick something up that is G.I. Joe and get introduced in some strange, you know, avenue of it.
I agree with that, and I'm the same with as you, really, where it comes to, like, I want the brand to be a successful one, and you can gauge that when you see it on everything. And there's a lot of complaining of like, oh, it's garbage this, it's garbage that, but yeah, it's also not aimed at you. That's another thing. Like, a lot of the people that complain about this stuff are going to be the guys that are collecting the high-end, blimmin', you know, highly detailed action figures. And of course, it's not aimed at you. It's aimed at kids. Like, and it's on a kind of cheaper scale. So it's like something they can, you know, spend pocket money on, and so on and so forth. So like, I am totally down for this in so many ways. The more I see of the merch, a lot of people dismiss it, but I think a lot I see of the merch, it kind of makes me feel better about the brand in general. You know, there's a big kind of criticism towards Hasbro of just like giving the license to anybody. That's the whole point. If it's successful, if people want the license, guys, it means it's a successful brand and it's continuing to be successful. Like, that is a good thing. So, there's no real, I mean, you can continue arguing the fact that it's, you know, rubbish this or rubbish that, but at the same time, this is what we want. We want to see that brand everywhere. We want to go to like a friggin' Party City and see like a little section of G.I. Joe. We want to go to like, you know, going out of a standard supermarket or, you know, grocery store or something, and we want to see items that have got G.I. Joe branding on them. You know, like, we want to see G.I. Joe cereal, which there's another thing we haven't seen recently. That's probably an option, I guess, but like, I don't think anyone's really jumping on it. Maybe it has to go a bit further before we start getting cereal. What do you think?
Well, cereal tends to be something that's, any more promotional cereals, you know, it's like they do one small run of them, they release them, and that is that. But I could definitely see some G.I. Joe cereal happening around a movie or some other big event. But even then, though, like, it's, some big movies don't get them. So
yeah, it's only really been like, I want to say, did Ghostbusters get their cereal back recently?
Oh, I ate a box of it, so yes.
So correct, yes. Yeah, so like, it's going to be the big major brands that have had it in the past too, where they can kind of almost like call back a little bit to that nostalgia. So how cool would it be, like, considering G.I. Joe has had cereal in the past, to get like a reissue of the old action stars?
Yeah, they could. That's the kind of positive thing, is that there's a lot of sugary cereals really aren't encouraged very much anymore, but Action Stars was never one of the ones that was really all that bad. So they could bring back Action Stars. Personally, I would prefer it with some marshmallows. That's just me.
I would prefer it with a mail away classified exclusive, could you imagine the clamor then? It would be, everyone would be so angry, flying
There'd
through
be
grocery
Walmarts
stores.
who get every box of it, and then they wouldn't. There'd be distribution issues.
Well,
Yeah,
what about, because Funko do a lot of cereal, don't they?
yeah, that is true.
I'm surprised Funko haven't done. I could easily see, because they've got the license. They've got the G.I. Joe license, obviously, because they do the pops and everything. And I'm really surprised.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm really surprised they haven't really kind of done that, because we've had Master of the Universe cereal, we've had Alien cereal, for goodness sake, we've had all sorts. So like, I'm really surprised that hasn't been done yet.
Maybe they just didn't think of it.
Very likely. But Action kind of, and I think the cereal's pretty much all the same. It's just basically like different coloured Cheerios, isn't it? So it's all very simple and basic.
But sometimes there are prizes in those Funko boxes. Like I was looking at a box of it the other day, and there was I think it was like Funkos is what it was. It was the box.
They're mini Funko figures, aren't they? Mini pops, basically. Yeah.
Well, there was a mini Cringer was what was in the box.
So, full disclosure, when I visited Boss Fight a few years ago, we went to an FYE, and I ended up picking up the Master of the Universe cereal and getting a Skeletor minifigure. And I picked up an Aliens box of cereal and got a little little Xenomorph mini pop, which is really cool. So it worked on me. So I'd be like well up for G.I. Joe stuff like that, especially if they threw a couple of different Chase figures in there. It'd be awesome. I'm well into that stuff. And that way, you're not...
I wouldn't want Chase figures.
Well, you know what I mean? Like a couple of different options. But which also would be... It would be a bugger, because you'd be like, that's like blind boxing, isn't it, essentially? I think actually on the cereal it tells you exactly what figure's going to be in there, so that's also a good thing. That'd be great. And they could do them they could just fashion little stars. It would be so cute. Stars and Cobra logos. It'd be amazing. I'd be well into that. Anyway, they could do two different types.
They could have the stars be super healthy, and then have like really sugary Cobra marshmallows.
red, sugary, bleeding death in cereal. Anyway, this was about the Soaring Light Blaze stunt plane, and we've already talked about other merch we want, which is great. Like you said, Pat, you'll probably pick it up if you see it. I know you would likely do so. I think it'd be fun as well, and I think, again, just before the holidays, I would say a stocking stuffer, but they must be massive at 19 inches. This box is still going to be about 8 inches if it's... if it's broken down. So, probably not the whole stocking that you'd stuff it in, maybe.
Yeah, that's probably true. It's going to be huge.
Depends how big your stockings are.
Exactly. Like they do make large stockings.
I used to have a huge old one. Anyway, as you get older, it gets smaller. What? Right, next up then, and in Super 7 news, Pat's trying not to laugh. On Wednesday, Super 7 dropped a brand new video with Brian Flynn showing off their second wave of G.I. Joe Ultimates, Destro, Lady J, Flint and the Baroness. Brian discussed what each figure comes with, including all of their unique cartoon, comic and in some cases vintage toy accessories, but this was a really good way of seeing the figures in their final form. The painted samples look outstanding and really capture the animation in a way that just hasn't been done before. In most cases I'm more infatuated with the accessories, including Flint's famous pistol, Destro's lava head with buffer, the Baroness's comic-inspired gas mask and tank, and Jay's bevy of spear attachments. These really are a cartoon lover's dream, and I'm very excited to see them in hand. During the week, I asked you guys who you wanted to see in the line, and I'll be highlighting a few of those later in this segment. You can check out Brian's video and the pre-orders for this wave by following the links below. Pat, let's start with how good these figures are looking. Brian showed off the painted samples, and they're friggin' awesome. How are you finding them after seeing this video?
Really excited for the Baroness. Just the fact that they have the round glasses and, that are tinted differently than the other glasses. She looks like a really great figure. I'm eager to get that one. And there's something about Lady J's hair that I think is maybe a little bit difficult to get done right. And that stands out to me as something that they really have down. So awesome. I like the way they look.
Yeah, Lady J, like even Brian said in the video that she was his favorite. That's the correct terminology there. Out of the line, and she is looking fantastic. I love the different heads she's got as well. Like, again, you're right about the hair is on point. Like it's so good. It's so difficult to get that right with a cartoon character, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It's probably a difficult balance to have it look like the animated style, but also look like hair.
Yeah.
Because there's a little bit of what is actually going to look like the cartoon and what is the cartoon trying to represent going on. I think that's one of the things that's interesting about bringing cartoons to, especially a 2D cartoon, to 3 dimensions. I think that's sometimes difficult because the character model may look, one way from this direction, but not necessarily match perfectly the ability to sculpt it from whenever the character looks straight on. So
yeah, it's that's always seemed to be like the hardest thing to get right with the cartoon based action figures, and not many have really nailed it completely. And it's not, like you say, it's not really their fault at the time, because you're almost, when you're watching these 2D cartoons, you're creating what it would look like in a 3D world in your head. And it's really difficult to do that because, like you see, you only really see it from certain sides. There are certain moments where you'll see it quickly from a distance on the side, but it's very rare that you're on a figure for on a cartoon character for a long period of time where it isn't showing them either face on or oblique. So like I agree with you on that one. It's really difficult to get down, but they seem to have done it really well with these. I have to say, absolutely love the accessories with these, and the fact that Baroness comes with a comic head as well, so cool, like a blue tint in the hair, and like it's so subtle, but it's if you want the comic version, there you go.
Yeah, and this blue Baroness is one that I've with kind of that pattern that's on her shoulders. I wanted a figure that represents that well for a long time. I know that we got the 25th anniversary Blue Baroness, but it was just a repaint of the regular black outfit Baroness.
Yes, yeah.
So this one is designed from the ground up to look like that. And for that reason, I'm particularly looking forward to that figure.
Way more authentic. Are you excited to see if they ever revisit that in the O-ring line?
Yes, big time. That's actually one of that's been on my imagined custom list for so ridiculously long that I need to just sit down at some point and actually do some customs. I'm one of those people who's guilty of, I could make this, and so then I get the parts that I need, and then I stop there.
Again, brilliant figures. Flint looks amazing as well. I'm like really into like his accessories, like that pistol. I'm so happy they're finally doing that pistol. Like it was obviously going to happen, and I know other characters have got those pistols too, and they use them in the cartoon. But Flint is synonymous with them, with that particular pistol, because he's got it in pretty much every single episode that he's in. He pulls that bad boy out. Including Flint's Vacation, where he pops the little glove box down and takes out of there and fires over his shoulder at Fang, which is amazing. So I'm really excited for that. So Baroness is your favourite. Are there any characters, Pat, that you want to see them do in this line from the cartoon or even the comic? Because that's kind of where it's kind of like a little bit of a balance there, isn't there?
The one character. Well, I don't know if I should even call it a character. The one thing that I've wanted for a really long time from the comic book, and it's because it was the first issue of the comic book that I picked up, but the Cobra robot from issue number 3, the one it's deceptively large on the cover of the comic than it is compared to in the story. He doesn't need to be 20 feet tall compared to the Joes. He's only a little bit taller than them. I would love to see Super 7 tackle the Cobra robot from issue number 3 with the parts that come out of the head and the miniature tiny robot heads that are crawling around. I think that one, it's just such a classic looking old robot. It fits with that very early Cobra style, and I would love to see that happen.
Do you think it's more likely they might do that in the reaction line than Ultimates? And which one would you prefer?
Yeah, maybe, but I see, the thing is, for the way that it looks in the comic as far as size goes, if they were to do it with Ultimates and make it even larger, that would look good with some 3 3/4 inch figures. Well, no, right. If it was maybe, I mean, how tall are the Ultimates? 7 inches,
7 inches,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, if it was like a 9 inch figure, that's still going to look good with 4 inch figures, because you have that initial picture, as I recall, of, I think that they had already captured the robot toward the beginning of the issue. And so I think that you have like some Joes on a ladder next to it really early on. It might even be in the first page. So yeah, I could go a little open on the exact scaling of it. But yeah, I guess if they did an Ultimates of it at 7 inches, that would scale pretty well with the reaction.
That's true, actually. Yeah. Kind of killing two birds with one stone in a sense.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of people have chimed in with who they'd want to see. Paul Galliano on our YouTube channel said Hector Ramirez. He was such a great recurring character and would be interesting, but what would be even cooler than that is a deluxe 3-pack set of the ghosts from the Phantom Brigade episode. Some really nice call-outs there. Like, first off, I mean, Hector Ramirez, that seems like a no-brainer, really, and an absolutely brilliant opportunity to get some amazing accessories, like, the video camera, the little clipboard he holds with, like, 20 questions and all that kind of stuff, all those kind of things, the mic, the little headset and stuff like that. I think that would be totally awesome to see Hector Ramirez, who wasn't even just G.I. Joe, he was across all the Sunbow brands, wasn't he?
Yeah, so that's what he could definitely be, kind of a cross-sell. I think he looked a little bit different sometimes in those other shows, so maybe they could do another color of him down the road.
Well, different heads as well. All the different head sculpts is multiple. The Hector Ramirez cinematic universe. What else have we got? Thomas says Serpentor. Not sure when, if we will see him in Classified. So yeah, that's a good one actually. Serpentor would be brilliant, and I think would fit really well. I think Cobra La in general would fit really well, wouldn't it, in this particular line?
Yeah, it would. A nice Pythona would be good, but I'm, to be honest, still very happy with the 4-inch Pythona that I have.
Oh, that's one of the best figures ever.
Yeah.
Oh, Hooded Cobra Commander says, once a man, Cobra Commander, please. There's another movie call out. And yeah, that would be great, because it really gives you so... I mean, we discussed this, didn't we, Pat, a while back, about the scope of different looks you could give him with different head sculpts and the ripped shirt and the exposed kind of like, snake, yellow snake skin and all that kind of stuff.
I would definitely want the visor with all those crazy intricate details on the inside of it. Big
time. Peppermint Oil Capsule says Snake Eyes in Boy George disguise. Yeah, I'm down for that. The Saturn's band. I mean, that would have to be the whole band lineup. That'd be a whole wave, wouldn't it? Pretty much.
Yeah, that thing's so ridiculous that as a kid I was rolling my eyes at that scene. I don't know. Sure, I think people have wanted it for so long that I think at one point I say bring on the weird and the goofy stuff. It's just Snake Eyes in that disguise. He just looks so weird.
It is. I mean, and especially when
breakdancing.
Yep. And especially when you know that James Kavanagh Jr. is cosplayed as that as well. You kind of...
Especially the fact that he's still wearing his mask.
I think that's genius, by the way. I've always thought that was really funny and, yeah, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But at the same time, I'm all about that. Luke Poulon has said he'd love Super 7 to do Ramar eventually. Ramar being the wasn't he the
that's the guy, from
the
Master Device, who Duke fights Duke. Yeah, that'd be a really good class, like a one that feels overdue, to be honest.
Yeah, basically a massive, bigger Conan, isn't it?
Yeah. But I don't know how large that figure should be either.
Oh, just massive, bigger than Duke.
He doesn't even look like he's a human, like, compared to Duke sometimes.
And
Duke's not supposed to be short.
Yeah, I know. Duke's like 6 something, isn't he, as well? 6 something feet. I also in that scene they lift the Hulk raw, don't they, for his audio?
Oh, they do. Yeah, yeah.
Because I remember hearing that the first time. I'm like, hang on, I recognise that. Dun 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 dun. Rawr. That's him. That's his raw, definitely.
And Unicron, right?
Yes. Oh god, it's amazing the amount of like. What's the other one? Hoth speeders in the movie when the trouble bubbles fly past. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
When the Hoth speeders are going over the ice, the Hoth planet and everything.
Yeah, I don't really understand how all that worked.
I guess it's just that it's like kind of public domain, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Or they just used it and as a placeholder and never changed it and got away with it. TIE fighters have been used as well in G.I. Joe.
There's all kinds of sound effects you can hear in G.I. Joe, and lightsaber sounds all the time.
Oh, yeah. That's so true. Anyway, yes. So that is Super 7. I see I got to some of your shout-outs there, guys. There were some of the people that wanted to see certain characters in the Super 7 line. Personally, I really want to... I'm just excited for this, and I want to see more and more of the cartoon stuff. I think it's going to be great. Anyway, yeah, that kind of brings us to the end of the news for this week, but we do have one more story that's a little bit sad, but we're going to get into that now. Last weekend, we learned of the sad passing of legendary voice actor Will Ryan. He voiced a huge amount of characters from 1983 as Rabbit in Winnie the Pooh all the way through to this year, where he played Willie the Giant on Mickey Mouse Funhouse. He will mostly be remembered by us for his performances on the G.I. Joe Sunbow cartoon, however, playing rock and roll in 1984's Revenge of Cobra miniseries, as well as reprising that role and the voice of Footloose in 1985 for Pyramids of Darkness onwards. He sadly lost his battle with cancer at the age of 72 on the 19th of November. Our thoughts go out to his family and friends at this awful time. Rest in peace, Will Ryan. This one hits really close to home because what I noticed when kind of looking at the work he'd done, like the kind of his back catalogue, especially in the G.I. Joe kind of Sunbow series, was just all the episodes that we got in the UK on VHS, like Pyramids of Darkness, Captors of Cobra, Worlds Without End, Cold Slither and Flint's Vacation. He was in all of those as Footloose. He was also rock and roll in Synthoid Conspiracy, which we did get VHS in the UK, but I didn't see it until later on in life. And he also played rock and roll in Jungle Trap as well in that time period. So all these cartoons, like, I heard his voice a lot, and Footloose was a big character in the UK as well. Like, he was one of my favorites. The figure's awesome. I remember when the club did the kind of like mail away member incentive figure, and I was like really excited for that. It was I think that was the first club figure I ever got. So like I was like, that was when I kind of got on board with the club, really. Yeah, so like there's a lot of love for Footloose. To hear that, that Will Ryan passed, on like last week, it was kind of devastating because it's like it hits you harder when you've got more of an attachment to that character. Yeah,
it's definitely a real shame. Sadly, I feel like we're going to, as we get older, we're going to be seeing more and more of this too.
Well, it's been, in the last, 5 or 6 episodes, we've probably had 3 or 4 of these kind of obituary, kind of in memoriam kind of segments, which, yeah, you're right. I think as we do get older, all the people that have been working on the stuff that we've loved all over the years are going to be dropping like flies, unfortunately. And and just such a shame again that it's one that hits you because it's so close to home as well. And yeah, so real horrible news. But we wanted to mention it obviously on the show and give a big shout out to Will, to the family and friends, and just our thoughts go out to you guys. Moving on. That leads us then, Pat, into shout-outs. So first off, I'll start by saying Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I know we kind of talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but I just want a big kind of shout out to everyone who watches the show, all of our American crew, and everyone who probably doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving, but knows what it is and can still be thankful for stuff. Pat, you go first. Bud, who are you most thankful for? It's going to be Phil, right?
I am thankful for Philip. He's probably going to be putting up the latest Articulated Points episode here before the end of the month.
Cannot wait. What's it about? Can you say? You can't say, can you?
Yeah, I can say. Well, as long as, plans continue on course, I thought that it would be appropriate, what with the shout out to Hasbro Pulse and the HasLab Sky Striker.
Nice.
I thought that this would be a correct time. It's not an episode about that at all, but it feels like it's the right time to show off a pre-production Ace action figure, 1983.
Nice.
So hopefully that's the one that we put up this month, because I think that'd be appropriate to do. So yeah, hopefully it'll hit sometime in the next couple of days. If not today or yesterday, I don't know when it's going to go online.
Let's also do a quick check on the Sky Striker. It is currently...
Yeah, that's what I just was doing. It's at 57.30.
That's not... It's gone up about 100 backers, I think, since last week, hasn't it? 100 and something, maybe. That's...
100 something, yeah. Because it was like 55 something, and now it's 57.30.
Yeah, so... Yeah, it was 11 days, 11 hours, and 21 minutes left. Do you think it's going to fund?
Thinking about that bell curve, and I'm still hoping. At this point, I'm pretty sad, because the main thing that I want is at that 18,000 backers. And I would have to say it's not going to hit 18,000 backers, and that makes me sad. So Hasbro, please come up with some other way of giving us some of those items that are at those higher points. That's what I'm really hoping.
I think we'll see those figures down the road at some point. Probably not even that far in the future, honestly. They'll probably, if they get this funded for at whatever level, they'll get that done. But I think in the meantime, it'd be likelier to see those figures done separately, quicker, before you even see the Sky Striker.
Yeah, I would think that we'll see Ripcord, in his vintage style. I really am hoping, because if I could have one repaint of Ripcord, it wouldn't be Night Force, it would be Tiger Force. Give us that original Tiger Force Ripcord. There's a really good picture of it on YoJo, and I think there's one on 3D Joes as well. Because if you look at the old Hasbro Toy Fair catalog, you can kind of look at the colors and compare them to the other Tiger Force figures to figure out exactly what color those were going to be.
What color hair?
Color sheets.
What color hair he's going to have?
Well, no, because his helmet is on.
Exactly. So they could give him a Rodman. They could give him a leopard print. They could go nuts on that, couldn't they?
Yeah, I guess they could. He'll have the Tiger Force logo. It would just be like, it'd be the Rodman equivalent of like a Tiger Force vehicle, just white in the front and then yellow going back and
amazing.
Tiger stripes.
The
just
logo.
has it in his hair.
The logo would be, you're
and
right.
The logo on the side.
Brilliant. Absolutely.
Or the teeth. It would be the logo in the back with the teeth on the side.
They'd paint big eyes on him and a big old mouth on him, right? That'd be brilliant. Why haven't they done that yet? There needs to be a Tiger Force character that has that face paint going on. Just putting out there for classified, guys. Right. Look at your face. He's gone all confused. He's like, what? That would be weird as hell. Right there. Yeah, that'd have to be like full on bright white face as well. It would be amazing. Yes. Okay. So any other shout outs, mate?
Sure. All the things that I'm thankful for: my family, my job, my friends. Just a general blanket shout out to everybody who I am thankful for. Thankful to you for having me on this show. About that,
forcing you on every week, making you do it.
It's always fun. It's fun to talk G.I. Joe. I get to talk G.I. Joe once a week. That's great.
That's true. Well, I'm thankful for you for accepting those invites every single time. And also I will shout out, obviously, again, to my family as well. We had we haven't been able to have Thanksgiving with our families as yet, but we'll be having Christmas with both of them. So big shout out to the family, to my wonderful wife, Kate, And to our friends at Boss Fight, who, like I said before, we had a lovely Thanksgiving meal together at the Boss Fight office, which was amazing. And yeah, it was great. So big shout out to everybody who went to that. And I will also shout out Kate as well, because it's my birthday today as this goes out, 27th.
Oh, happy birthday.
Well, you did, yeah. You would only know tomorrow anyway when Facebook tells you so. But yeah, tomorrow is my birthday, aka Saturday. And Kate's is on Monday, on the 29th. So we're separated by a day. So shout out to my wife, who'll be celebrating her birthday on Monday. And and wish me a happy birthday, guys. Jeez, come on, put it in the comments. I appreciate it.
There's so many November birthdays. It's insane how many there are. I was 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, something like that.
Do you know what? It's 9 months away from November.
Yes, and mine is to the day. My birthday is November 14th.
Amazing. It is, yeah. There's been a lot. There's loads. I mean, there's a load of boss fighters as well in November. It's crazy. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense when you realise that Valentine's Day kind of lines up nicely with a lot of births there.
If it's not Valentine's Day, usually it's like 9 months from the dad's birthday.
Oh, right. Another good one.
Quite often it is.
March, April, May, June, July. Yeah, it's not far away either. Jeez. Anyway, yeah, it could have been either of those. I never thought of it that way. Anyway, yeah, big shout out to everybody there. To Brian Sauer for the awesome Tiger Force fall graphics, which are just amazing all of the time. We'll be switching to the winter setup, next month. So we might get another episode with the Tiger Force graphics. But also a big shout out to Brian for sending me that awesome Captain's Level gear kit, which this T-shirt came in, actually. Let's check this bad boy.
Oh, those things are amazing. Yeah, he did a really nice job.
Look at that. Strike like lightning. Storm Shadow. Yeah, so you can check out the video. I put out the unboxing of that earlier this week on our YouTube channel and Facebook page and Twitter, everywhere pretty much. So thanks so much. It's amazing. That kit is brilliant. As I've got, I'll flash up images of the dio as well that you build in it. It's just incredible. There's a 6-inch dio, which I'm using for my classified shelf at the moment. And there's this gorgeous 4-inch water tower dio, which is just brilliant. And it's got, in the background, it's got a skyline on one side of the wall, which has got a billboard with Quick Kicks frozen fudgies on it. It's amazing. Absolutely love it. So yeah, great work on that, Brian, and all the guys at Assembly Required, the whole team for putting that kit together. It's incredible. Finally, I will say one more thing. I'm wearing a special hat today. Shout out to Toys R Us, who actually revealed during the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade that they'll be opening 400 stores across the United States in select Macy's establishments in 2022. So Toys R Us is sort of back again. I don't know for how long, considering we've probably said this about 6 times since it disappeared. But yeah, I'm still gonna hold on to this one. Like, hopefully, fingers crossed, it leads to Toys R Us's coming back in a much bigger way in the future. Also, I didn't really mention about what sort of products they'd be kind of putting out in Macy's Toys R Us kind of pop-ups. So, hopefully it's not the same situation they had with their True Kids brands, where they were going to just have Toys R Us based stuff in there, if that makes sense. Toys R Us own brand stuff. I'm hoping it'll be a much bigger, kind of layout than that in these Macy's, but we'll see, I guess. But I just wanted to make a big point of that and shout them out, because I didn't think it was necessary to go into massive detail in the show, Pat. But did you see that, by the way?
I actually didn't, so I just looked up how close I have a Macy's, and there's one like half an hour or so away. So
that's not bad. Yeah, we've probably got a couple near us in it's. But then I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But I just wanted.
I would love it. I would love it if they could do some exclusives, because I think that there's going to be limited retail space for that. It seems like a great way for Macy's to introduce a toy section and have people take notice.
Yeah, big time.
And hopefully, since there won't be as much space in a Macy's for Toys R Us stuff as Toys R Us had, that while the sections will be smaller, maybe some exclusives. Who knows?
Yeah, fingers crossed on that one. What is interesting actually is it's an untapped resource, but those kind of stores that kind of like the bookends of malls, the big kind of department stores as they were, they do have toy sections, and I don't always check them. So like if we ever go out shopping or whatever, which doesn't happen that often anymore, but like, when we were doing, we'd pop into the mall, we'd go to Toy Vault, we'd go to like FYE, and we go to, there's another one I forget what it's called now, Newbury Comics I think it's called. So we'd go into those as well, and then you don't really think about it, but we ended up going all the way to the end to one of like, it was either Sears or Macy's or whatever it was. We went in there and there was a corner section packed with toys, including all of the Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins stuff, like everything that was out, like, literally packed aisle of loads of Marvel Legends, and I was like, you know what, we do not kind of think about it often to go in there, but it's always kind of packed with stuff, and that's something I think going forward I want to kind of pay a bit more attention to, I think.
That makes sense, because a lot of times what ends up happening is those places are on a different shipping schedule, and sometimes they'll get those rare waves that other stores just aren't getting in or aren't getting in very fast.
Yeah.
I remember a friend of mine, he collects Star Wars Black, and he sent me, he was like, could you please just, you're near a JCPenney. Could you go into JCPenney and see if they have, I think it was Chirrut Imwe they had. And I went in and there he was. It was very odd at the time because he just wasn't showing up in stores. He was really hard to find. And they had him and he was on sale. It was like less than what he would have cost at Walmart or Target. So yeah, definitely some of those places are a good place to hunt. Untapped
resources, definitely.
Yeah.
Right, that brings us to the end then, bud, of the shout-outs. Any others? Probably I can't really think of anything else, honestly. It's going to be Christmas soon, so we'll be focusing on that, I guess. I take it you've got a busy kind of lead up to that at work.
Yeah, I have a lot of work ahead of me for the next month and a half.
I'll be calling Justin, I think, a lot, won't I?
Possibly.
Again, I don't. Yeah, I want you to. I don't want you to be to burn out just because you're appearing on this every week.
No, it's fine. This actually, whenever we record, it actually fits really well into my schedule. So
awesome. That brings us to the end then. Of course, we continue to support the LGBTQ+ community, and as always, stand fast with the Asian and Pacific Islander communities in saying Stop Asian Hate. We do not discriminate against any minority and want the show to be a fun and safe environment for anybody, no matter their background. To all our patrons, listeners, viewers, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for all the support. We really appreciate it. And we've got loads more awesome stuff lined up for all of you, patrons, listeners, viewers, in all sorts of aspects. We have to pull our finger out and get it done, or I do. So yes, we've got loads of cool stuff coming up. Keep it locked to the Full Force. That brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you for watching the Full Force Weekly. Massive thank you to my awesome co-host Patrick Notpicard Stewart. See you next time. And as always, after 3, 1, 2, 3.
Full Force!
Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force!